Chapter 7.6 Factoring Out GCF. Writing out a polynomial as product of factors is called factoring. Example 1. Factoring out polynomials. Factor each polynomial 2x squared plus 18. Find the GCF of the terms. So GCF is the greatest common factor that divides the first term and the second term. So for example, you have in this case two terms, 2x squared plus 18. Now what is the number or variable or both that divides 2x squared and 18? So I can see that 2x squared plus 18, in this one you don't have x. So the number that you can get common is 2, because that's a GCF. You can factor it out. Inside you left with x times x plus 9. So inside you left with x squared plus 9. So the GCF is 2. So the GCF is out. Remaining factor x squared plus 9 is inside the bracket. Now in this case, you have a monomial that is common between this term and this term. You can see that the number 5 is common, or we can actually write it in this manner so that we can see what number exactly is common between this term and this term. So what I have common is 5. So 5 is common, and then I have pair of y. That you can factor out. So 5 times y times y. And what is left inside is 3y plus 2. Whatever you take common, that is 5y squared, that is called your GCF. So the GCF is 5y squared. The next is you try problem. Factor the following in your notebooks. So you're going to use 1, 2, and 3 and factor them in your notebook. So for number 1, the GCF for 5z squared plus 30 is 5. So you factor the 5 out. Inside you left with 5 divided by 5 is z squared. 30 divided by 5 is 6. So the answer is 5. GCF is 5. Inside you have z squared plus 6. In this case, 3 and 14 are not on the same table, so they don't have any GCF. So you take the x out because x is a GCF at this time. Inside you have 3x plus 14. For number 3, you have 8y as your GCF, and inside you have y minus 3. 8y squared divided by 8y is y, and 24y divided by 8 is 3. Next is solving an equation by factoring. So first of all, we need to make this equation into one side. So we are going to add 6g on both sides. So what you get here is 4g squared plus 6g equals 0. Now we are going to solve. It means we are going to find the value of g. So the GCF is 2g, because 2g is the number that divides 4g squared as well as 6g. When you divide 4g squared by 2g, what you left with is 2g. And inside this one, divided by 2g is 3. So it's going to be 3. You have two factors, 2g and 2g plus 3 equals 0. So you're going to make them equal to 0 one by using zero product property. And then you're going to solve for g. So g equals 0 and then you're going to subtract 3 on both sides, and you're going to get here is g equals negative 3 over 2 or g equals 0. Now you're going to try the you try problem number 4, 5, and 6 in your notebook, and we will go over on the answers together. For number 4, you can think like making the factors for this one so that you can easily see what is the GCF, or you can just think like 3 and 21 are on the same table. 3 is a GCF of 3 as well as 21 because 3 can divide 21 as well. So 3 divided by 3 is 3, and x is also GCF. So 3x is the GCF for this equation, or you can factor it into prime factor and see which two numbers are common. So you can take that out. 3x inside you will have is x plus 7 equal to 0 1 by 1, and then either x equals 0 or x equals negative 7. Here we applied the zero product property, so you can find the x values using zero product property. For this one, we need to bring the equation in one side. So if there is two-sided equation, you can subtract 5x on both sides. You get here is 5x squared minus 5x equals 0. 5x is the GCF because it divides both of them, or is a factor of both the terms. Once you take the 5x out, here inside you're left with x, and this is nothing left because 5x is factored out, but its place value, that is 1, is left here. We're gonna plug them equal to 0 1 by 1 because zero product property. This will give us x equals 0, and this will give us x equals 1. Next is 18y squared minus 6y. So first step is always bring the equation into one side. So it should be, other side should be equal to 0. Now 18y squared minus 6y equals 0. Now we have to find out what is the GCF between these terms. So the GCF is 6y. 18y squared divided by 6y is 3y. 6y divided by 6y is 1. You're going to put them equal to 0 1 by 1, and here you got y equals 0, and this one is plus 1 on both sides, and divide 3 on both sides, you got y equals 1 over 3. Example 3, real life application. A female athlete tests her vertical jump by jumping straight into the air. Her height y in feet after t second can be modeled by this equation, y equals negative 16t squared plus 12t. How many seconds is she in the air? She is on the ground when y equals 0, because when the height becomes 0, obviously she is going to be on the ground. So substitute y as 0 and solve for t. So now I have this equation that I'm going to rewrite. So I have y equals negative 16t squared plus 12t. As I said, we put the y as 0. And then we're going to find out what is the GCF for 16t squared and 12t. The biggest number that divide both of them is 4t, and inside you're left with is negative 16t squared divided by 4t is 4t plus 12t divided by 4t is 3 equal to 0. Whenever you have the factor to factor equal to 0, it means we can apply zero product property, which means that you put for t equal to 0 or negative 4t plus 3 equal to 0 and solve for t. So t equals 0, or when you solve this, you get negative 4 equals negative 3. Divide with negative 4 on both sides. You got t equals 3 over 4. So it's going to take either 0 seconds or 3/4 of a minute, that is 45 seconds, in the air, and it will drop down when the y equals 0 or the height becomes 0.